Welcome back to DireWolfWargaming, and today I'll be painting up a custom Nurgle Chaos Land Raider. Okay, so all I did was undercoat the whole thing black to begin with, and the raised areas on it is glue to make it look like festering sores on the actual machine. And then once everything had been undercoated black fully, I used a dark green to go over literally everything, all the metal, all the tracks, absolutely everything I've done with dark green. This is so when I put the metal on later, it's got like a little green tint coming through from behind. Yep, that's about it. So black, dark green. Oh, and the tentacles were all made from Milliput from scratch to make it look more chaosy, more disturbed, and to make it look a bit better. Then when I did 2 coats of the dark green so it weren't patchy anywhere, I did a dry brush of a mid green over, so you can still see the dark green below, but it's dry brushed across the entire vehicle, again covering all the metal work so it comes through later. And this again just to make it look a bit more diseased and vile looking. It's not the last green either, the last green's coming up next. So after the mid green had been dry brushed everywhere, I did a really light sickly looking green, and any big little mistakes I make with the metal or any other colour after this will be the green that I'll be touching over the vehicle with. It's just to make it look really sickly looking, diseased, like it's living, like it's flesh and living, and it's like festering off. So yeah, I just dry brushed this all over the thing, and I thought the look of the machine, but at this point, was really nice for what it's supposed to be, to represent Nurgle, disease, pestilence, etc. Okay, so now I'm doing the Pewter Color on it, and this is for the tracks, for the guns, for any bits that could be considered metal, like the hook on the side, for the little face lizard things that I put on the sides of the Land Raider, those 4 things. The chain armour coming off the Marine at the top, little bits and pieces on the Marine's armour, like at the back and tubing and stuff. The bolters at the front, any grates on the machine as well, they were all done with pewter. And on the grates and stuff, you should be able to see that I have put glue on there as well, because I want it to look like there's putrid vile stuff seeping out of the Land Raider as it's chugging along the battlefield. The effect with the super glue is really easy to do, in my opinion, and literally dotted on. If it's on the side, it'll naturally flow down as it dries, so it looks more like a festering source, like burst or coming down like that. So yeah, pewter over everywhere, including in the tracks. And it doesn't matter about making mistakes, because I make mistakes all the time. All you've got to do is just clean it up after. I'm not trying to make this look like an award-winning piece. It's just to look really nice, smart, and something you can enjoy looking at and then playing with. That's literally all I'm going for whenever I paint a figure. It's not to win awards, it's to make it look nice and smart, and and quick, because you don't want to spend hours overdoing a tank, hours overdoing a figure or an army, because it can kill your pig with it when you're constantly having to paint and paint and paint and paint and paint, and you're spending hours and hours and hours on an army, when you can do methods and techniques to do smart, nice looking figures that you can be proud of quite easily, and it's taking a fraction of the time. So over the pewter, to make it look more decrepit and decaying, so I want it to look like the thing's alive, including all the metal bits, I took a antique bronze metallic paint which has got a real nice copper glow to it, and I simply just dry brushed it over everything that I did pewter. I did light dry brushing on some areas, heavier dry brushing on others, which just to give it that effect that things are decaying and things are starting to really look horrible. Now this stage is the red on all of it, everything, and the red I'm putting over all of the raised areas that I've created, and this is to make them look like they're wounds or sores or, you know, blisters. It really does make it stand out from the green and make the entire model pop and stand out now and come alive. Again, it's not to win any awards, but it's a nice little thing to make it stand out instead of being all green or various shades of green. I'm using 6 shades of green. This is just to make it look festering and diseased, and it makes the model look like it's living almost, and it's a nice quick way to do that, just by having it's like real rotting flesh and stuff like that. So it's quick, it's easy, and it looks really nice when it's done. Then in the centre of all those little red areas, what I decided to do was use the light green that I used as the final green on the vehicle, and just paint on in roughly the centre of each little red area a little bit of this light green to make it look like poison is flowing up to the surface of the wound, and the poison's there. You know, it almost looks like, if it was in reality, it looked like it was like ready to burst out. And then just to finish off these wounds and sores all over the vehicle, I used a really sickly pale yellowy green. I just literally put a dot in the middle of each of those light green sores on the vehicle, Again, it just sells the effect of the poison being there and like looking like it's swelling up and ready to burst out. I mean, that'd be a pretty nasty shock for any Space Marine running up to the vehicle, wouldn't it? And then all the various skulls all over the spikes that are on the model are painted white. The elongated skull at the front, I was under the impression that it could be an Eldar skull, though I could be totally wrong about that. But anyway, I just painted it all white. I didn't use a thick coat, just a quick blitz with white. That's it. Now onto the tentacles that I made myself. I used a really bright pinky colour. It's one from the army painter. I think it's like worm purple or worm pink, something like that anyway. It's really nice and pink. It really stands out from the green, the dark green of the vehicle, and even from the red. And the tentacles themselves are made with Milliput. It didn't take very long to do it all. I mean, everything to do with my painting is to do it quickly and make it really look good after I'm finished with it. And on the underside of the tentacles I used dark purple, and again this was from another one from the army painter. I can't remember the name of it, but a dark purple. It contrasts the pink nicely, but also doesn't look totally unnatural that it wouldn't be there. And yeah, it's just a really nice quick effect to do. The Milliput stuff stands out great with the model, and if you want to customise your own stuff, Milliput's a great way to go about it. And as I say, with all my stuff, I don't want to spend hours on it. I want to spend as little time as possible, but do a really good job in that limited time. Then, just to finish off the tentacles, I used a really nice light blue. I do remember the name of this one. It was Troglodyte blue from the army painter, and I just made the holes with a paintbrush when I made the tentacles, so I just fill in with a bit of light blue. Another really quick step, I'll just use the really watered down flesh colour over the Marine's face that you can see, and yeah, that's it basically. And then, like all the models I've done so far on this channel, I used my nice brown wash over everything, and this is where all those dry brushings of green from the start really start to come up after everything starts to dry with the brown wash on. So really cheap, easy, quick way of finishing the models off. And yeah, as I said, with my stuff, it's going to be really nice looking models that are done quickly and efficiently. I'm not here to win awards, I'm here to do really nice stuff in good amounts of time that you'll be proud of when they're on the table. Once the brown wash had dried, I then used a texture paint from Wargames Designs. I'm trialling for it, and just simply spread it all across the tracks and up near the edges of the tracks and on the bottom of the vehicle, just to make it look like it's moving through some sort of dirty terrain. And because we all love a quick dry brush, I just quickly dry brushed a slightly lighter brown to the texture paint over the texture paint, just to give it a bit more detail and a bit of a better effect. And now the final stage, just to fully finish it off, anywhere that there could be blood on the model, like around the spiked areas mainly, I used a glistening blood speciality paint, I think it's called, from Army Painter, and this dries glossy so it looks like fresh blood. But yeah, it's just a nice little finishing touch for the models. Things like anything chaos, I did it on the Defiler and other such things that I've sold. It just adds a nice finishing touch off. And there it is, guys, the finished Nurgle Land Raider. As I say, if you like watching my videos, and I think anyone can get into painting and modelling, because you don't need to do 6 layers of a paint, in my opinion, to achieve one colour. I mean, you can use any paints. I use a mixture of paints, from Army Painter to the normal acrylics, the Deco Arts, Americana. I paint, as I've said many times in this video, not to win awards or not to spend hours over a figure or hours and hours over a tank. I paint so it looks really nice, neat, it has a really good effect to it, and it looks really good when it's on the table, because at the end of the day you've got to think about it, you've got to look at it from about whatever your table is. So if your table's like 3 foot away from you or whatever, you've got to see your models. That's the view you'll see your models at a lot. Unless you pick up the model to really have any examine at it, any super detail work or anything like that, you don't typically see when you're playing a game. So even from my own personal stuff, like I've painted up this Land Raider to sell, but my own personal models I don't super detail, because I'll be looking at them from a perspective where you won't be able to see all that extra work you've put in, all those extra hours you've put in. I mean, I get you a lot of likes on Instagram, but for yourself, it's the amount of time you put in for your figures. I mean, I think that even if you're brand new to the hobby, you should be able to pick up a paintbrush and just slap the paint on like you've seen me do, and if it's neat and it's a good model, then the final outcome will be good. I mean, I've painted up some really poor models, and even if you add the extra detail yourself, like I've had to do before, it's still a poor model at the end of the day. It's like the difference between a army man soldier from the Poundland to a really nice high-end plastic model of the same World War II soldier, like from Warlord Games or something. You can paint up the Warlord Games one poorly and the other one super detailed, and the Warlord Games one will still look really excellent because of the detail that's already there. So if it's a good model, just slap the paint on and have fun. You don't need to spend hours and hours and hours over it. And I think that's a big thing that does a lot of people with the hobby, especially for larger armies, is you spend so many hours over one figure or over one vehicle, and then you're there thinking, I don't really want to continue with it, which is why I think it puts a lot of people off building up armies, building up forces. And all I'm trying to make the point of is that you don't need to put all that much effort in. I mean, it's this perspective you've got to look at it from. That as long as it's neat and it looks nice and you're proud to put it on the table, you don't need to spend hours or days over one model. I mean, I painted up an entire dwarf army for Oathmark, around about 60-70 figures in a 24-hour period, and I based them. It took me, including painting and basing and cleaning them up, it took me 18 minutes per figure, and they were Westwind dwarfs. So, you know, I don't really think you need to spend hours over it, and it was really good effect. I did revisit them later to add pen work onto them to make them look like they had plaid and tartan clothes on. But yeah, anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave us a like, and you can find us on Instagram at DireWolfWargaming.com. I post regularly there, new products, new videos, new little projects, pictures of Spock. This particular piece I'm selling, and to fund some other stuff that I'm trying to do. If you like it and you want it, the link will be below to my website, DireWolfWargaming.com. It'll take you straight to the Land Raider, and yeah, you can purchase it from there. We've got great MDF products on DireWolfWargaming.com. Paint racks are quite popular at the minute. So yeah, I really do hope you enjoyed the video. I know it turned into a bit of a rant at the end about how long it takes to paint things, but yeah, that's basically it. Subscribe guys and join the pack.